We got breaking news. We have breaking news. A pro football owner has officially lost his team or has been kicked out of the league. Just came down fresh. Of all the owners in pro sports, who do you guys think lost his team today? Man, I don't think this is going to be that hard of a guess. I personally do not believe this is going to be that hard of a guess. I just don't. Okay? Antonio Brown has lost his team and their ability to play in the Arena League. They took the team away from him. They kicked the whole thing out because of his conduct. I don't know if you saw his press conference yesterday. He had no shirt on, of course. Hey, Hoss, you ain't T.O., man. The only guy that could do interviews, I'm convinced of this, are Brad Pitt and T.O. They're the only people on the planet that could do an interview. And I'm very comfortable in my own skin. See, I'm a married guy, 33 years, so I'm good. Big Sills. This is a lesson to some of you guys who might be less confident. You got to have confidence in who you are. Antonio Brown doing press conferences yesterday. So the Arena League took the ability for them to play and kicked him out. Hey, I tell you what, it's probably more pub than that team has gotten in the last 3 years. That's pretty crazy shit, man. He has no road that looks like it ends in a good spot. Damn. Hall of Fame career absolutely incinerated. Have you ever seen somebody incinerate a Hall of Fame career like that? Okay. Hey, Jack, they just started the original Arena League, which, by the way, I played in. My uncle owned a team, played in Vegas. You want to know where I played? At the MGM Grand, by the way, at the bottom of the hour, I have the mayor of Las Vegas on. Carolyn Goodman, our good friend, is going to join us. Are the A's moving? Bryce Harper didn't like it today. The Philly Star didn't like that the A's potentially are relocating to Las Vegas. We'll wish your congratulations on the Golden Knights. I believe they're going to get an NBA team. And, of course, the Raiders are there. Now, get this. They're even getting the Pro Bowl festivities and a Super Bowl is coming to Vegas. So we have the mayor, Carolyn Goodman, on with us at the bottom of the hour here. So we're going to kick it around with her for a couple minutes, and then we'll get back into football. But she's been a friend of ours. And by the way, Big Sills is part of the history of professional sports in Las Vegas. I was on the very first professional football team they ever had, which was the Las Vegas Posse of the CFL. Then I played in the Arena Football League. So Big Sills is an alumni of pro sports in the city of Las Vegas. So she'll join us at the bottom of the hour. Absolutely love her. Harper's not a fan of that move, by the way. Tone was talking with me prior to that, and he was saying that, Harper, for all the things that he does and how cool he is, I love him. I think he's got one of the only personalities in baseball. He actually is a traditionalist. He actually is a traditionalist and loves the game of baseball. So we'll talk to Mayor Carolyn Goodman at the bottom of the hour here. Well, today is Nick Sirianni's 42nd birthday. Congratulations to you, Nick. Happy birthday to you. Fantastic. Hey, by the way, after the 2-5 start, you've been absolutely fabulous. It's been a great 2 years so far. Going into a third, you got a Super Bowl, a division title, two playoff appearances, a Super Bowl appearance. Let's do this here. In honor of Nick's Day, We kind of broached this a little bit a couple days ago, but now it's his birthday. What's his leading role on this Eagle team? What do you think his leading role is on this Eagle team? His importance, what he brings to the team. Hey, by the way, let's set it up here where I'm coming from. I like the guy. I think he's okay. I absolutely don't have a problem with that. Okay? I actually don't have a problem with that. I think it's pretty cool. No problem. 42 years old. Big boss man. What do you think his role is? What is his actual role when it comes to coaching that football team in Philly? He's the glue for the players. He grew strong roots. We could all chip in and send some big behind. Speed, please. Nick picks his own coaches. He does not pick his own coaches. That's not true. Fly. Don't you remember the press conference that he had at the Super Bowl? When he was there, he basically said he had to introduce himself to all the coaches that were in the building. He didn't know any of the coaches. That's not true. He didn't pick the coaches. He had to introduce. He said it himself. You're making that up. That's not true. So he doesn't pick the coaches. I'm not saying he doesn't have a role here. I am not saying that he does not have a role here. I'm asking you what his role is, though. Howie's aviator. Man, I love that. I love that. Howie's aviator. Okay. Hey, can I make a comparison for Nick Sirianni here? What was Phil Jackson's role in Chicago? What was his role? What was his role in Chicago? Okay? What was his role? What do you think Phil's role was? Okay? You tell me what his role is. Okay, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do here. It's kind enough that the mayor has decided to join us a little bit earlier. She was going to come aboard with us at the bottom of the hour, but let me put it to you this way here. Oscar Goodman was a friend of mine. When I am part of, before I bring Mayor Goodman in here, I'm part of the Las Vegas professional sports alumni. I played with the Posse, the Sting, and this is where I got a chance to meet Oscar back in the day. And then Carolyn, when she was not the mayor yet, I don't believe she was the mayor when the Posse was here. And both of them had a dream of having professional sports in Las Vegas. And who would have ever thought that it's where it's at right now? Stanley Cup the other night. You got the Raiders in town, and here is the mayor with Big Sills here, Carolyn Goodman. She joins me now here. And great to see you, Mayor. Look at that.
Yes, go.
Unbelievable, Mayor. I mean, is this what you and Oscar envisioned years and years ago when you guys wanted to bring professional sports to Las Vegas?
You know, you've nailed it already. We have been sports fans all of our lives, both failures ourselves in trying to be athletes. So we dream and live for others. We are the biggest fans. And of course, we are the biggest fans of Las Vegas. So it was a hope. And as many times and many calls, I remember he called Commissioner Bettman right up front and said, how about hockey coming to Las Vegas? And amazingly enough, I remember when he told me that Commissioner Bettman really was not opposed to it. I mean, he could see something, and he's still, no wonder, he's still the commissioner. But then obviously it was time. It had to be a franchise, so many things. And then to Commissioner Tagliabue, oh, Sin City, no, and Goodell, no. And so it was just, you keep asking, keep pushing. And interesting, David Stern from the NBA, I remember meeting with him and going to the games, and always Adam Silver was right with him, and that was a learning experience. But he knows, I guarantee you NBA is next, just a question of time, because we have the great summer league here, and there is no better place. It's dedicated to people having a wonderful time and enjoy everything that entertainment means, and especially for those of us who are nuts about sports.
I'm going to tell you something, Mayor. When I was there, I was working with Ron Futrell after I got done playing my professional sports, and Vegas was going through a transition. You guys knocked the Sahara down, the dunes down, and it was just, and now, back then it was a different Vegas. Now you go on the Strip, you see kids running up and down. It's a magnet now for sports teams. You guys really dipped your toe into the sports world. Remember what was that? The Las Vegas Thunder during the strike year? You guys had that. We used to go there and cover that. So what did that feel like the other night when you guys won the cup?
We had horse racing.
Horse racing.
And people in this town, our sports betting facilities, all of them, they bet on cockroaches, paint one blue and one red, and we'll have something going. And the fans will follow. This has been such an exciting town, and I think it's been such an exciting town and time for everybody, not only here in Las Vegas, but people who really are so upset with enough of all this, please, this anger, this fighting. Let's just relax, have a wonderful time, and sports is great. And so as an industry for us, that's becoming, in addition to the hotel, entertainment, tourism industry, sports industry. And you know what that means to every child, or to every father and mother who said, I did it. I want you golfing. I want you playing basketball. So come on. And it just binds people and gives them a heart and an interest.
Boy, I've just been told that Oscar is a Philly guy. And I mean, Randall Cunningham also played at UNLV. So I mean,
wait. Forget Bryce Harper. Right here.
Bryce Harper, there you go. Oh, my God.
I mean, we're not chopped liver here. We got kids growing up. Plus, we have retirees. We have a lot of sports retirees living here. I always remember Rollie Fingers. He's here as the A's maybe coming in. I don't know if it's signed off yet or whatever. But we just have, this is a passionate town, and everybody who's here wants to be part of the enjoyment and making things happen. And you, of all people, love sports with us, and just watch that bouncing ball. What's next to happen in Vegas?
Well, let me ask you that. Let me expand on that. Mayor Goodman, do you believe that the A's are coming to Vegas?
It sounds like, I don't think it's been signed by the governor yet. I think they've been watching the Raiders and how much they've been part of our community. That's a big piece, because when you look to the Knights, and when we had that horrific, horrible 1 October shooting, who was right there right from the start? Every single player, and Foley and McPhee, everybody, and whoever, I can't remember who was coach at the time, but the reality was everybody took it to heart, and it became one unit of people. Really, the heart beat that they were so involved with it. And our Oakland Raiders are out there in the schools and have become part of the community. So any professional team that we get here, and if it happens to be the A's, hopefully they'll look and see, wow, look at that. Look how embraced they are by a community that really wants to pull together and is sick of the arguing and the fighting and the put downs and all that. We're one unit of people, and boy, those Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders and the Vegas Golden Knights, the Knights have been stupendous.
Does it concern you, Mayor? A couple last questions for you. Does it concern you that the adversarial relationship that Mark had with the A's, because they were subtenants
Oh, yes.
of
Yeah.
the Coliseum? So that's something that probably has to be massaged, I would think. And you
No,
know,
no,
the,
it won't need to be. The spirit is so strong here and so positive. And if they want to have a wonderful fan base, as the Raiders have gotten, if they come here, they're going to have to work at it. They're not going to have to be a team that's going to come here and just sit down and not get involved. They won't succeed here. They'll have no fan base. And that's the beauty of this, because everybody that is born here, comes and moves here, understands what we are and who we are, and wants to be a part of building positive. And certainly the Raiders, and for sure by example, our wonderful Vegas Golden Knights have shown how do you do it. You want to be part of a community and you want to win. I will tell you, you speak to any player, and certainly any one of these hockey men, if you ask them, what does it feel like to be in Vegas? They'll tell you, we know we're loved. We know they understand, and they're building a community, and we're building it with them.
absolutely. Last question for you, Mayor. I mean, is it your objective to get all four of the major sports there in Vegas?
You know, you look at this, it's going to be, by the time I finish up, it's quarter a century of Goodman's. Oscar and I would love to live another 25 years, but we know that ain't going to happen. So the reality is, yes, we would love to have representation, but I really do believe we've been working on MLS, as you know, for my whole term, and because of a bunch of things that didn't go through. I think we were the 17th franchise we had a shot at. I think they're into their 30s now, but I really do think, I don't think, I know Adam Silver knows. It's just when and who is going to come here from the NBA. And to me, when you get that piece, nirvana. Nobody will want to work at all except to earn money to go to these matches, whatever they are, whatever kind of game. Sports is wonderful. It's so good and so healthy for our children, our families, family togetherness, positive thinking. And again, go Knights.
Absolutely. Mayor, JC's going to kill me. I want one last sneak in question for you. JC's going to kill me here. I've known her forever too. I'm going to say this to you here. Does it concern you a little bit that the NFL is really concerned about gambling? Yet you are going to even be hosting the Pro Bowl festivities. There's a team there now. How do you guys, as city officials, deal with players and professional people that are in that city? You guys did a great job with the Rebels, with the basketball team. I don't think anybody could bet on the Rebels when they played home games. I think there was something like that. How do you handle that?
Everything, that's what we started as. There was no legitimate gaming anywhere in the country. A lot of illegitimate gaming around the world, but legitimate, well-organized, well-planned, always under the microscope. We knew what we were doing. Now it's gone national, so nobody can object. And I'm talking about legal gambling. And so often, any state, any city is calling our people, our gaming control, our gaming commission, to find out answers to questions. How do you do this and that? So it doesn't concern me at all. And I've never had a problem, because I love athletics, with betting on yourself. It's when you bet on the other side there's a problem. So to me, I would just say, to encourage my team, if I were a coach, and I've been coaches at different levels of little people going through their years, I would say, you better believe it, and I'm going to bet for you to get you. And if you do that, I'm going to take you for a pizza. That's the bet. It's not money, but it's the same concept. So I'm all for it, and I see it. I don't see a concern here. We know what we've been doing for the past 50, 60 years here with gaming, and we certainly are a model of how to handle it all. So we are nirvana, and the best place to have a home base for a national franchise.
Absolutely. It is a family place, Vegas. I lived there. I recommend it. It's one of the coolest places on
Come
the
on
planet.
back. Come on back. Look what you're missing. You put
Mayor
it in
Goodman,
there.
thank you so much for taking time with me like
Thanks,
you
Dan.
always do. You always do. Tell Oscar hi. Thank you
I
so
sure
much.
will. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Marilyn Carolyn Goodman, the mayor of Las Vegas there. Yeah, you know, my whole problem with the NFL is that you're in a professional city right now, and Las Vegas is now going to be hosting like the Pro Bowl festivities. You got an NFL team there now, and you're concerned about gambling? So wait a minute. The only people that can benefit from gambling are the owners, but the players can't? And yet you're doing all your events there. There is this gas pedal stepping on now by the league, not to make sure players are involved in gambling, yet the league is knee deep in it. So then, is it the NFL owners are upset that the players are now getting involved in gambling because they don't want them to get into their piece of the pie? Is that what this is? That's pretty crazy. Think about that. Going forward, there's even going to be a Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Crazy. All right, I want to reset this now. Now, I appreciate the mayor coming aboard with us. I thought that was really cool. Every single time I text her, no matter what it is, she always comes on for me. Love. Hey, by the way, Oscar was in Casino. He was Joe Pesci's attorney in Casino. And when Casino was being filmed, Big Sills was going around on the sites, and I was running into De Niro and Joe Pesci when they were filming that in Vegas. I forget what they used to close down Casino. I forget when they blew up the car out front. It was hilarious. We were all standing there. Jerry Tarkanian and myself were sitting out there when they blew the car up. I can't remember. Maybe it wasn't the Excalibur. It was something else. I forget what it was. And yeah, no, Tark was the star in that place. I love Jerry Tarkanian. My wife didn't love him too much. Anyway, all right. Got a ton of stuff here. Pro Football Talk has funny, I did a preseason poll. They did one. I want to look at that. CBS did the top 100 football players. I'm doing the top 20. I think you're going to be shocked. I think you're going to absolutely be shocked. We're going to do that. But as we started the program off, Nick Sirianni's 42nd birthday. Happy birthday, Coach. Let's get back. Tell me what you think your boy's role is as head coach. I heard all these crazy. He picks the coaches. No, he doesn't. He's the play caller. No, he's not. So he doesn't pick the coaches. He's not the play caller. What is he? And I was making this point. I don't know, Tone. Hey, wait a minute. Let's do this. What was Phil Jackson's role with the Bulls? Was he the defensive guru? No, that was Tex Winter. Was he the offensive guy coming up with plays? No, that was Clemens. What was Phil's role? Does Sirianni have the same role as the Eagle head coach that Phil had with the Bulls and the Lakers? He didn't pick the players in Chicago. He didn't pick the players in Los Angeles. What's his role? Jackson was a Zen master, monitoring the egos and personalities. Gee, doesn't that sound like Nick's role? Does Nick have the same role that Phil Jackson had? By the way, that's not a bad role if it lands you 11 NBA titles. Hey, I'm not going to sit here and criticize that. That's actually knowing who you are. You're not a personnel guy, Nick. I don't think he ever pretended. And I'm not accusing him of thinking he is. Doug did. Doug Peterson thought he knew personnel. Maybe that's some of the problems that coaches get into. No, you really don't. No, you really don't. You're a coach. Very few coaches have the knowledge of being personnel guys. Jimmy, I think Pete Carroll does. I think to some extent, Bill Belichick does. Think about Andy Reid, for instance. Andy Reid has been in organizations that have been more centric on having a guy make decisions on personnel, and Andy being sold on that player more so than Andy having the autonomy when it comes to personnel. Hey, and in theory, if you think about it, the Kansas City Chiefs are not as talented right now than they were when Andy first showed up. So are they losing talent? They are, but they have the kid in the building who is like the equalizer to all that. Doug was Tony, you're right. Doug is the opposite to Nick. Do you think that's by design? That they hired a guy that they wanted directly opposite of the personality of Doug Peterson and Chip Kelly and Andy Reid? Because in theory, Nick is nothing like any of those coaches. Doug was hands-on. Andy was hands-on. Nick's not. Nick is more like Jimmy. He's not hands-on. Sirianni's not a hands-on guy. So what's his role? Staying out of the way? I think there's an art to that. Ask Dallas. Ask Dallas. You know what I mean? Stay out of the way. You know, everyone, they are kind of trying to come up with, like, how about this? How much influence do you truly believe that Nick Sirianni has on Jalen Hurts? What is the influence you think he has on Jalen Hurts? What's the influence? Probably nothing. I don't think he has any influence. Not involved in play calling. He's probably involved in some of the decision-making on what type of plays are going to run in a game. But that, again, comes down to Jalen's decision-making. He's not a play caller. RPO is not play calling. It's more design. And he gave the play calling up. How could he how could he have an influence on Jalen Hurts' success when he gave up the play calling? Andy Reid's involved in Patrick Mahomes' career because he's the play caller. He was involved with Donovan McNabb's career because he was the play caller. What's Nick Sirianni's influence on Jalen? Does he get any credit for Jalen's evolving into being a quarterback? I don't think he gets any. I don't think he gets any credit. What is the biggest influence he's had on Jalen? Keeps a positive attitude. Okay. That's fair. Kind of stays out of the way. Well, I think that's organizationally designed. Okay. Why do you hate Sirianni so much? I never said I hated him. I'd probably enjoy playing for him. Who said I hated him? Jesus criminy, guy. You get upset when people ask questions, don't you? Or have debates. You're not very good at debating, are you? You're not very good at listening to questions and trying to figure out why the guy's good. I'm trying to figure out what his role is. And hey, get this. Dan Sileo is a Nick Sirianni hater because I asked a question on what his role is. And if he had any influence on Jalen Hurts, and I say no, and I'm hating on him, and he just led a team and helped the team lead a team to a Super Bowl, how's that hating on him? What's his freaking role? I mean, You've been shitting on him for what? Ben, you tell me then, Ben. Hey, Ben, what actual influence do you truly believe he had on Hurts? I'm curious. I don't know. Somebody convinced me he had an influence on Jalen's progression on where he is now as a quarterback. Then I just sent $1 million super chat that you didn't read. Yeah, well, me and Tone right now. If Tone saw $1 million chat, a super chat, I think me and him would hijack it and tell Big Joe and Xander, see you later, dog. Sirianni's a motivational speaker. Okay. Hurts says so himself for one. What's the influence? He's not the play caller. He doesn't design the plays. That is not true. Hurts says it. Yeah, right. Sure, dude. He doesn't play call. He doesn't put the game plan together. And he has an influence on Jalen Hurts' progress. Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni will never be tied together like Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, or Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb, or Doug Peterson and Nick Foles, or Carson Wentz, or Trevor Lawrence. Because Doug's the play caller. He'll never be tethered. Like, watch this. Aikman and Jimmy Johnson aren't really. It's more North Turner and Aikman. You think Jimmy had any influence at all in play calling? Jimmy Johnson never called an offensive play in his entire life. Jimmy's role is different than Nick's because Jimmy picked the personnel. Nick really doesn't have a role. Nick really doesn't have one. Because you know why? And I like what someone said. Nick Sirianni, and again, we're talking about his 42nd birthday. Happy birthday, coach. Is that he's the Pied Piper to what the organization wants to try to have in the locker room and try to have success when it comes to playing on the field. He's the communicator, and he's doing it well. He's doing a great job of it. I don't think you hate anyone, but I don't think you give Sirianni enough credit. Okay, 007, what's the credit? What's the credit? Dan, you know, all the talent in the world doesn't win. It's the coach. So you think rah-rah speeches win football games? Seriously. You think a guy giving a Newt Rockney speech wins professional football games? I completely do not think that. I think the players make the culture. It starts from the top, and it trickles down to the coach. Everybody in the Philadelphia Eagle organization knows Howie Roseman is the number one guy. Nick works for Howie. Mike Tomlin doesn't work for the GM in Pittsburgh. Pete Carroll doesn't work for the GM, John Schneider, in Seattle. Bill Belichick doesn't work for a GM in New England. These guys don't work for anybody. They answer to the owner. Okay? Nick works for that guy. You think if they got into it, hey, by the way, one thing is for sure, Doug didn't realize that he worked for Howie. That's why they fired him. Insubordination, probably. They probably thought Doug was being insubordinate towards Howie. When in some places and in most you think Doug Peterson works for Trent Baalke in Jacksonville now? Or do you think he completely answers to Shade Khan now? He don't answer to that guy. There's very few places that all these high-end. Andy Reid, you think he answers to Brett Veach? I do not believe that. I do not believe that. Counterpoint, Dallas has been the most talented team for years. Coaches sucked. Yeah, because Jerry's in the way. Coaches have sucked because they've not been empowered. Okay. And Jerry runs everything. The game plan, the talent, the coaching, coaches the team, puts the game plan together. Howie doesn't do all that. He's more, how about this? Let's do this. Do you think Howie Roseman is more comfortable with Nick Sirianni as the head football coach? Coming off a Super Bowl loss than when he was with Doug Peterson coming off a Super Bowl win. You think he's more comfortable with Sirianni as his coach instead of Doug Peterson? I think so. Because I think they're more on the same page with one another in the way they think. I think Doug had his own way of doing things, old school, and he looked at management as what it was. Because you know why? There's a part of me that says, you know why he had that attitude? Doug's a former player. And you always will have an adversarial thought process and negativity towards front office people because you were a former player and you were fired by former front office people before, and you'll always be a little bit apprehensive to trust them. I think that's always built in to the former coaches that will always have an issue. And that if you look at a lot of the great coaches that have been former players or like didn't really have great relationships with front offices, I mean, Mike Vrabel had that guy Peterson fired in Tennessee. Why? Because Peterson didn't get it. He didn't want to see A.J. Brown gone, did Mike Vrabel. And over $6 million, you let a 25-year-old high-talented player away and let him walk out the building. And when Mike Vrabel saw what that guy did in Philly, that was the end of one of the better general managers in the NFL. That guy's done a nice job in Tennessee. The guy who just got fired, he's a good GM. But he completely screwed that whole deal up. Sirianni brings a Philly attitude. Okay. So he's a cheerleader. They fired him right after the Titans versus the Eagles game. Sirianni is a great coach. Coaches what? Attitudes? What does he do? Here, let me think of somebody in the NFL that's like Nick Sirianni right now, that basically doesn't hire his own coaches, has nothing to do with the play calling, is more of a manager. I'm not saying this is bad. Phil had this role. Who's a guy like that? Who's a coach like that in the NFL? Nah, Sean McVay. He's the play caller. Kyle Shanahan's a play caller. Pete kind of runs the defense and is involved in the offense. You can see it just on the sidelines. Likes to run the ball. Belichick tried. He sucked terribly at the offense, but he's involved with his son on the defensive side. Miami coach is involved in the play calling. Todd Bowles is involved in the defense. Judge is the play caller in New York. Mike McCarthy now is the play caller in Dallas. LaFleur is the play caller in Green Bay. Zach Taylor's the play caller in Cincinnati. Sean McDermott is actually taking on the role of defensive coordinator in Buffalo. There's no place in the NFL that has that role that Nick has. He's a great coach. Mike Tomlin. I don't really see Mike that involved in that defense, do you? And he's a defensive-minded guy. Huh. Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin and Nick Sirianni, do they have the same type of job description? Yeah. That's a good one. Dude, that's a good one. You're right. Callie Green, Mike Tomlin. I don't really see Mike involved in the defensive play calling in Pittsburgh. Okay. That's a heck of a coach. That's a coach that's on his way to Canton. That's a guy that's on his way to Canton. Okay. Okay. Mike won a Super Bowl. That's a pretty good one, man. Mike Tomlin, Nick Sirianni. And again, I'm not saying Nick is not really important in the whole tree of what the Eagles are doing here. But when people are starting to come up with these phony-ass things that he's responsible for on the team, he's not. He picked none of those coaches. He picked none of them. Stoutland was already in the building. The most important coach in the building was not even removed. Shit, that's 2 coaches removed. That's a Chip Kelly nugget. Nothing. Harbaugh's the play caller in Baltimore. He is the play caller. You see, well, who's the guy they got there now? They got a brand new guy in the building now who's trying to put an RPO system in there for Lamar. So that may be a little, you know what, too? I'll take that back because I think that John has backed up on the play calling in Baltimore because they're trying to install what they do in Philly in Baltimore. So there's a brand new guy up there now. The Jets head coach is involved on the defensive side. Okay? Dan Campbell, that's a good one. Dan Campbell, too, has that kind of role, and he's doing a good one. Yeah, no, if it's Greg Roman in Baltimore that's installing the RPO offense, then yeah. No, hey, look, man, this is not a slam on Nick. I'm just asking a question like this. What's Nick Sirianni's role as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles is not a slam. It's a question. It's not an indictment. It was not an indictment. You guys are turning it into an indictment. Most people have roles on teams. Most coaches have roles. What's Nick's? Is my only question. And you guys attack me because I'm questioning what his role is. Well, he's the coach. He hires all the coaches. He's the play coach. He's none of that. That's my only point. Then how about this? How important is this? He sets a tone, and here, I'll give you one. How important is it for Nick Sirianni to set the tone in the locker room of having a positive attitude and positive way of thinking and continually thinking we're pushing in the right direction, no negative talk, no absolutely over the top, any kind of loser mentality whatsoever? How important is that? I think that's enormous. I think that's completely enormous. Setting a tone. Here, I'll give you guys an example. How many times sometimes you come home, you've been bitching at your wife or your loved one or your family. You walk into the house and you got a shitty environment and you hate coming in there because everybody's in a bad mood. Nobody likes to do that. You can't win like that. It's a shitty environment. Before you know it, you're living like that every day. And secondly, before you know it, everyone's got a shitty attitude. No one wants to come to work. You're not focused. You hate everything in the building. I'll tell you what, man, I've seen that mentality in Tampa. When I got drafted to the Buccaneers, it's not uncommon. Okay? It's not uncommon. Nobody likes to walk into any kind of shit like that. Nobody likes that kind of stuff. So, hey, and I'll give you a great example of that. When you walked into anything with Jimmy Johnson, Dallas Cowboys, Miami Hurricanes, things that I was associated with him, I was around Jimmy for 6 years. And I'll tell you this, I never in my entire life ever walked into a building that we had negative noise in. He made sure he extinguished that immediately. If you had a shitty attitude, you were out. If you had negativity towards the players, you were out. If you said any bullshit, you needed to fix your attitude. He worked that attitude. Maybe that's Nick's role, is to make sure everybody is focused and 100% understanding that it starts with work environment. I do, man. I think the Eagles have a wonderful work environment. I think it's a pleasure to go to work. From 30,000 feet looking down in, I think it probably looks like it's a wonderful place to work and a wonderful place to coach. I mean, it's probably not Camelot, but what places are? Right? So, hey, there's nothing wrong with having a role of a guy who makes sure the environment in your locker room is a positive and winning attitude. There's nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I think that's actually harder to coach than calling an RPO play. Hey, run an RPO play. Getting play. Hey, seriously, I think this is a great conversation, Tone. What do you think is harder to do, to connect with players mentally, emotionally, or play calling? What do you think is harder? Let me say this to you. You think Doug Peterson really connected with Carson Wentz? Maybe this is what got him fired. You think he ever really communicated? And maybe the Eagle front office said, dude, he couldn't connect with Wentz. He's not going to connect with Jalen. He's not going to get it. He's going to give up on him the same way Nick Saban did. You watch. He won't have the patience. Because Nick's worried about his legacy too. Not a problem with that. All head coaches like those guys have massive egos. I get it. I'm not criticizing Doug either. Doug's half wrong. If I go, so Wentz is Doug's fault? No. Doug is his own fault. Once again, I'm not talking about Carson Wentz. I'm talking about why Doug got fired too. And that, to me, it just seems to me that Howie Roseman is in a better place with Nick Sirianni, because I think they're on the same wavelength on what his job description is than what Doug and Howie were. You see, Doug wanted to dip his beak into the player pool. Howie wasn't having any of that. They weren't having any of that. Would Doug Peterson have had the patience to coach Jalen Hurts? Or would he have overcoached him? Would Doug have overcoached Jalen? Isn't it funny? The less coaching that Sirianni has done for Jalen Hurts, the more success he's having. Man, is that confidence in your guy and connecting with your guy? You got to have a ton of balls when it comes to having confidence that that player is not going to take advantage of you being given the ability to actually grow yourself. How many coaches overcoach players? All of them. All of the coaches all of them, all overcoach. Try this, try that, do this, do that, this technique, that technique, instead of letting the guy just be that guy. Yeah, Doug benched Carson for Jalen. Yeah, I'm sure that was Doug's comment and thought. For who? Nate Sudfeld? Yeah, whatever, dude. Nate Sudfeld. Yeah, we got to take a look at Nate Sudfeld. Why? Think about the job that Doug Peterson, think of this. Would Doug have had the patience to coach Jalen Hurts that Nick has? He lets Jalen just be Jalen, and he trusts his game management and his in-game decision-making, I think, more than what Doug would have. I do. Look, I think Doug has done a remarkable job with Trevor Lawrence. And I'm not saying Doug is not a good coach, because I completely believe that he is. But Trevor Lawrence is a different style of playing than what Jalen is. Man, I'll tell you what, Doug has my mentality. Those dual threat guys, I'm getting there. I'm not near there. I'm more where Trevor is. Trevor Lawrence is one of the greatest talented athletes at quarterback that I've ever seen come out of college. No one was ever saying that about Hurts. And no one still says that about Hurts. Not in your wildest imagination would you ever say that. Trevor Lawrence was one of the most anticipated draft picks at quarterback in NFL history. And Doug is an old school guy that is more in tune with Trevor. I think it's interesting on what would have happened if Doug had stayed. Okay? On what would have happened if Doug would have stayed and coached Jalen. Do you really believe that he'd be where he is now under Doug? Do you? So maybe there's the value to Sirianni. Hey, dude, go be you. Dude, you got to have a lot of faith in your guys. Maybe that's maybe that's Nick's greatest strength. You see what we're doing here? Now we're on the side of his strengths. You know what? Maybe the greatest strength he has is, hey, kid, go out and be you, man. And then we'll worry about what to fix after we figure it out. Instead of doing, why don't you go here? Why don't you go here? Why don't you go there? No way. I don't believe Doug had any investment in Hurts. I would think that Doug's probably very shocked where he is right now. Dan, what's your favorite sports team? Oh, Miami Hurricanes. Miami Hurricanes. I mean, dude, I'm more of watching. I like all sports. I like players. Not so much. I like players and fans, then a couple teams. Does that make sense? I like how the fan base gets, like, look what's going on in Buffalo right now. So according to Sean McDermott, and hey, here's another thing to Nick Sirianni. How do you think Nick would have handled that Stephon Diggs situation? How do you think he would have handled Stephon Diggs? Because according to Sean McDermott, it's now been extinguished and it's been resolved. How do you think he would have handled that? Better? Okay. I think they would have done that more closed doors. And when the media asked, Sean McDermott's biggest problem was he went public and went, I'm very concerned. He shouldn't have said nothing. Just the same thing that they've done with the Jonathan Gannon story. They had a prepared statement. You see how much, and by the way, do you see how angry they got at that sports writer in Philadelphia that attacked Jalen Carter right out of the gate on one of the happiest days of his life? They jumped down that guy's throat. They were offended. They're a very smart organization. They kind of remind you the same way that the Raiders used to be back in the old day. He would have told him to be patient like a flower. Yeah, you put the little seedling in a cup, then your sprouts out, then you put it in a little tiny Dixie cup. Then before you know it, the flower grows, comes up, and you'll see the sprout. And that's kind of where we are now as an Eagle organization. We're kind of now not sprout. Last year, we were the sprout. Now, we're the flower. We lost our flower things, petals things. Now we're growing them back again. And now we're going for another season. Be like, damn, dog. Holy shit, man. That guy needs a hookah hit. Maybe what you need to do is bang on that Aaron Rodgers Tuca a little bit there, homie. I mean, Nick, man. Hey, the best part of Nick Sirianni, can I tell you what, is his daughter. Holy cow, man. You know, dude, I don't know if you've ever seen that when his daughter's mimicking him. And you know what? That just shows me, too, what kind of home he has. If his daughter could do that, he lets her do that. Must be really cool in his home, too. Because his daughter gets up there on the press conference and starts goofing on the father just like that. And I tell you, I love it, man. So maybe he is like a father figure to some of those guys in that locker room. Yeah, Nick, you need to take that hookah hit, homeboy. Doug loved Nick Foles coming out of college. So I'm not surprised he's doing well with Trevor Lawrence. They have similar styles. Yeah, and I think similar attitudes too, Weapon. Okay? Dan, tell your great made-up humans. Yeah, okay. Somebody asked me my favorite pro sports team. God, do I have one? My favorite pro sports team, all time or right now? Or just like my favorite pro sports team? It's probably the Yankees. You know, I haven't really watched the Yankees, though. Since, you want to hear something? I really haven't been a super Yankee fan since Steinbrenner died. I'm talking to Dad, because he and I were friends. He lived in Tampa and used to walk into my studio. You imagine the boss walking into your studio? It was wild. I used to do a show on WDAE. And by the way, here's before we go to the top of the hour, by the way, we haven't even gotten to the topics yet. Okay, we haven't even gotten to the topics, so we'll do that at the top of the hour. But hey, Mr. Snuffy, don't be upset with the most successful franchise in the history of American sports. You're welcome. Okay, don't be upset that you're upset that the Yankees. Don't be upset. It's okay. I got you, kid. Okay, it's all right. Don't worry about it. So Tampa is the only city in American sports that has 2 American League broadcasting rights in it. And it's because of George Steinbrenner. Okay. So we aired Rays games on WDAE, but somehow Steinbrenner got the Yankee rights in Tampa too. And, man, it used to just kill Vince Namoli because Yankee games were on the opposing station. And, of course, we get bigger numbers. Rays sucked. They were the Devil Dogs back in those days. And George Steinbrenner lived right near the station. And I prodded him. He lived on Rocky Point, where his offices were. Not on Rocky Point. He lived on Bayshore, but his offices were on Rocky Point. So I'd go out to this place called Landry's for lunch. And I'd see George Steinbrenner there. And so George Steinbrenner, he's there with, get this, he's having lunch with General Schwarzkopf. Come over here. Come here. And General Schwarzkopf, because Central Command's in Tampa. You guys have to know this. I have had lunch with General Schwarzkopf, Tommy Franks, and General Petraeus. Those are my friends. Okay, Schwarzkopf, Franks, and General Petraeus are my friends because Central Command's there in Tampa. And I used to go broadcast my show at Central Command. So they're Schwarzkopf and Steinbrenner. Yeah. Sit down, have a hamburger. Here, I'm like, I don't need, I'm a seafood. Get some shrimps then. Okay. So the next day, George Steinbrenner brings a whole shitload of Yankee shit in. He knew I was a DiMaggio fan. Gives me jerseys, number 5. All this shit, all this DiMaggio shit. Here's signed something by Joe. So we start talking Yankee baseball. He would just come in unannounced. There's only 2 people who have ever had that autonomy. JM, there's only 2 people that have ever had the autonomy where they didn't need an invitation. That was Arnold Palmer and George Steinbrenner. Because Arnold Palmer used to just pop in. And he'd be walking when I was doing the Arnold Palmer Invitational. It was called Bay Hill then. And he'd walk in with Mulligan, his dog. And he'd sit down and just start. I'm in the middle of talking basketball, Magic or Lightning or some shit. And here come Arnold Palmer. And of course, I'm going to stop. It's Arnold Palmer. He'd sit down. I'm holding the dog's leash. And I go, what's the dog's name? He goes, Mulligan. Of course. Oh, man. General Schwarzkopf, what a great dude. There used to be a restaurant called the Mayflower where I lived. And General Schwarzkopf would go in there every single day and have a bagel, and he would have breakfast in there. And you'd see him in there. He'd just be sitting in there, and you could go sit down and talk with him. He had no problem with it. Really a great man. I was a big fan of General Schwarzkopf. He's come in the studio too. What a good dude, man. All right. We are going to hit on our topics. Finally, want to thank Carolyn Goodman in the first hour for coming aboard. By the way, I saw that CBS put out the top 100 players in the NFL. I didn't go top 100. I went top 20. Also, Pro Football Talk, we had a preseason poll. Now they do. Kind of different. We'll take a look at all that. Our topics are next. Hour number 2, keep it here on the National Football Show.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
For the big story on Action News,
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
All right, did you know I was the mommy slam dunk champion?
Really?
Yes, really don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, go to left, fake them out. Mama, go up, mama!
She did it.
Again?
You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Steel's National Football Show. Appreciate you coming aboard. Please hit the like button. I saw a comment made by a local Philadelphia sports media guy that compared Joel Embiid to McNabb. That's a poor comparison. McNabb won. Not to the limits that everyone wanted, but Embiid has won nothing. Get this. The worst thing that could have ever happened to Joel Embiid is that he won the MVP award. Will he be as hungry? Seems to be the biggest accomplishment in his life. I mean, when you look at Jalen Hurts and what Jalen Hurts and all of his personal accomplishments, they probably mean nothing to him. Same with Brady. I think there's an innate thing in you when you're those guys because there's a never-ending finish line. I don't think that Jordan looks at his MVP awards and really gives a shit about any of them. I think he cares about the finals MVPs because that's closing a deal and winning the ultimate prize. I think Jordan's greatest accomplishments and his greatest probably awards are his finals most valuable players and the fact that he won 70 games with one of those teams, unlike Golden State. Golden State, they don't have the greatest NBA team of all time. They didn't win it. The team that won 70 games and closed out the finals and won it, the Bulls team will always be better than that Warriors team. They didn't win. Winning the championship is the ultimate. Joel Embiid winning the MVP awards, the worst thing could ever happen to him. By the way, guy like Bryce Harper winning the MLB MVP, that's one of the greatest things that could ever happen to him. You know why? He's more driven. There's certain guys that have an extra gear and a gas pedal when they start to get accomplishments and they start to get these great awards because they start elevating. Once you win something like that, once you start becoming one of those guys, once you see yourself elevating your game like Kobe, and people start revering you more, hey, man, it's tougher to stay on top than it is to climb, I think. It's tougher. It's tougher to climb. You know, that's a tough thing. The climb, staying on top. Come on, man. Staying on top is impossible. Joel Embiid has won nothing. He hasn't even won get this. Has Joel Embiid won the respect of the Philadelphia sports fan base like Jalen Hurts has? No. Jalen Hurts in 1 year has done more than what Joel Embiid has done in his time in Philadelphia already on winning the fan base's trust. That eventually, get this, Bryce Harper too. You could make the debate that Bryce Harper and Jalen Hurts have the trust of the Philadelphia sports franchises, fan bases. They believe those guys go out every day to try to win ball games. And be dissatisfied. He cried like when he won the chip. Okay? My name is Dan Sileo. I love the Mets. In April. I love the Mets in April. Come October, everybody's back to being a Yankee fan. Embiid wants to play in Miami. That's it. Pick up your shit and just go run somewhere. Go ahead. Without a doubt, Hurts and Harper are miles ahead of Embiid in fan interest and support. And Jalen just lost the Super Bowl. But you know what fans are giving him? Dude, you fought your ass off in that game against the guy. You fought your ass off against that guy. I think Bryce Harper, dude, I love the gold cleats. I am a massive fan of that guy. He's the only guy in baseball with a set of cojones. Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout play in Los Angeles and you wouldn't know it. Bryce Harper's a bigger star than Machado or Nolan Arenado or Mookie Betts. He's baseball's biggest star, in my opinion. And he plays in a city that kind of personifies his reputation and his attitude and ego. Philly's got an ego. I love it. You see, people in New York hate ego. People in LA hate ego. People in Chicago kind of like it. People in Philly like a guy with a good ego that backs it up. Dude, if you talk shit and you back it up, that to me would be Philly made. I mean, Big Sil's talking shit in Philly? Gee. It's like putting OJ's glove on. Too soon? Probably too soon. Too soon? Kennedy and Lincoln, probably too soon also, right? Too soon, right? All right. It doesn't fit. Yeah, right. Yeah, my hand has palsy too. I couldn't put my hand in the glove either. Trust me, if that was my glove and I was on trial, that thing would never have gone on anywhere. Wouldn't have went on 2 fingers. Sills, get some green in the background. Dude, I got this right here, man. Right in front of me. I got it, man. Get some green. I like it. Joshua, you're dead right. All right. Where's Niner? I need Niner. Where's Niner guy? Come out, wherever you are. Niner. Niner. Come out, wherever you are. I sound like the guy, Robert De Niro's, come out, wherever you are. Where's Niner? Gotta be in here. I got some bad news for you, dude. I got some bad news. You guys probably ran Niner out of the building. Well, I got some news for Niner. Cape Fear. Thank you, Arthur. Niner. Come out, wherever you are. I got that redneck thing down. Trust me, when you live in Florida, man, you get come out, wherever you are. You see enough Confederate flags in the state of Florida, you start talking shit like that. Hey, Tone. Hey, Tone, you start seeing enough Confederate flags, you start talking like this. Come out, wherever you are. Oh, man. I don't know. After a while, I'm starting to talk like this down there. Hey, man, you got to go along with some of them dudes, man. You know how many trucks have gun racks and you don't see the gun and you're like, where is it in the seat? Come out, wherever you are. All right. Niners hiding. All right. Someone's going to have to convey this. This is really shitty, man. And you want to know, this is probably the nicest way you could possibly tell somebody that you ain't it. So George Kittle has come out saying, I want to get this right. Here. Trey Lance is a starter, but it's Purdy's job. And it's his job, and he's our guy. That's the nicest way you could tell somebody you're not the guy. You're not the guy here. One of your main all-pro stars, targets, number 1, 2, whatever you want to call him, he's saying, you're not good enough to get me the ball. The guy that's rehabbing is better. Wow. What? That ain't a backhanded slap. He slapped him right in the face. Nice. But get this, not full force because he didn't want to injure him too bad. Remember what Trent Williams said the other day? I really like how he takes criticism. What the hell does that mean? Who cares about that? Man. So you now have teammates. That's great for the Eagle fans. Eagle guys, think of this. They got guys on that team right now that are saying Trey Lance ain't good enough to win ball games. Nobody does this. Well, he's a starter, but just not here. How do you know that? Are you really going on 9 games from Brock? 9 games with Brock Purdy was good enough to sell the entire 53-man roster in San Francisco that Trey Lance isn't good enough. I don't know about you, but if I was on that coaching staff and I was in that front office, that's not exactly what I want to hear. My number one pick and all the draft choices I gave up for that guy and have my star players going, he's not that good. Wow. Gigi goes bust. Man, he's a bust on the Niners. The Niner players don't think he's good enough. Jesus. Remember what I told you yesterday about no noise in Philly? That's a prime example. The noise in Buff. Look at who were the noisiest teams this year? The Jets, the Niners, the Bills. Who else? I don't think the Cowboys have been that noisy. I don't think they've been that noisy. Raiders a little. Damn. In my opinion, I think all those teams that were noisy like that may indeed end up struggling. Surprising. That's right. JM, that's a great one. For a guy with all those sexual misconduct cases that he had against him, Cleveland's been awful quiet. That's kudos to them. They've been practicing football. They've been working on football. Good for them. I think that's important. He's going to need it. He's absolutely going to need it. But you have the San Francisco 49er stars now coming out saying he's not good enough. If you're in Philly, you're like this. That's my competition. You got players now singling out, well, Brock Purdy's our guy. The guy that we have now is not, so we're not going to be the same team at the beginning of the year. Wow. Hey, Gigi, the Cardinals been noisy? Does it matter? Hey, does it matter? The Cardinals? The Cardinals. All right. I'm going to do something here. Get this. You're not going to believe this. I have a higher opinion of one of your players than what the national people do. Let me get to this. I completely disagree with CBS's list. I completely disagree. Of the top 100 players, I didn't want to bore you to death with the top 100, so I'm not going there. So I did the top 20. The Big Sales top 20 best players in the NFL. Any position. Okay? Any position. This is where I have it. And I'm going to start at 20. I got Trevor Lawrence, Jaguars, as the 20th best player in the NFL. At 19, I have Jalen Hurts as the 19th best player in the league. Eagles quarterback. You know where CBS had him ranked? 31st out of the top 100. They had Hurts 31. I have him 19. I think higher of Jalen than what the national pundits do, like Pete Prisco and them guys. They have Jalen ranked 31. I said the same thing, Neil. You don't think that guy's one of the top 20 players in the NFL? I think you're out of your mind. I think totally think Jalen's in the top 20. And again, I think you could probably arrange any of these 20. I was like, you don't have Jalen Hurts in the top 20? You got him 31. CBS Sports is ranked in the top 100 players. Jalen Hurts, number 31. I at least have him 19th. I got Justin Herbert, 18. Chargers. At 17, Jalen Ramsey. Dolphins. Corner. At 16, Lane Johnson. Eagles. Right tackle. 15, Devontae Adams. Raiders. Wide receiver. 14, Chris Jones. Chiefs. DT. 13, Sauce Gardner. Jets. Cornerback. 12, Tyreek Hill. Dolphins. Wide receivers. 11, TJ Watt. Steelers. Edge. Again, here's 20-11. Trevor Lawrence, 20. Jalen Hurts, 19. Like I said, go down and look at the list of the people that they have ranked ahead of Jalen Hurts. You won't be mad at Big Sills. I don't think he's the 31st best player in the NFL. I got him in the top 20. And could you move him ahead of Justin Herbert? I'd be fine with that. Jalen Hurts, 19. Herbert, 18. Jalen Ramsey, 17. Lane, 16. Devontae Adams, 15. Chris Jones, 14. Sauce Gardner, Jets, 13. Sue, Herbert's he's a better passing quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is the best RPO quarterback in the league, whatever that means. Nobody on the planet would take or draft Jalen Hurts over Justin Herbert. If you put him in a draft, so nobody would take Jalen Hurts over Justin Herbert. Nobody. Only people in Philly. Nobody would do that. Nobody would draft Jalen over Justin Herbert. Nobody on the planet would do that. By the way, I don't have Lamar Jackson in the top 20. I don't have Dak in the top 20. Yeah, right now, Chris. Nobody's going to draft a guy with 1 year under his belt playing some pretty good football and sit there and try to tell me. And like I said, if Jalen Hurts was in the AFC, I don't know. I'm not going to get to that debate yet. And again, watch this. We'll agree to disagree. You take him, I'll take Herbert. I think he's a better quarterback. That's the kind of quarterback I want to build my team around. Okay? He needs better coaching, in my opinion. So what do you think Justin Herbert would do in Philly? With all the best O-line, 2 superstar wideouts, and a superstar tight end. What do you think he would do? 6,000 yards? What would Joe Burrow do with that team? Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl with the 31st worst O-line. What do you think he would do with that? 7,000 yards? I think get this. I don't think Lamar Jackson could come into Philadelphia and do the job that Jalen did. Tyreek Hill, 12. TJ, 11. Here's the top 10 players in the NFL. I'm completely, like I said, I completely disagree with CBS Sports. I don't really like that guy, Pete Prisco. I mean, I had my show on in Jacksonville one time, so maybe I have an ass with the guy because he hated the fact that I had my show on there and they put me on in 6 markets. He was such a tool. Anyway, and you know what? Get this. I don't know why I continue to do this, but I do it. I got Micah Parsons 10. I know. Ugh. He's a good player. Is he one of the top 10 players in the league? Yes. Yes. He's one of the top 10 players in the league. I just want more from him. Number 9, Trent Williams. Left offensive tackle, San Francisco 49ers. Best left tackle in the sport. First ballot Hall of Famer. Tremendous. Run blocker. Tremendous. Okay. Tremendous. Just tremendous left tackle. I got Aaron Donald at number 8. I think Donald still has some gas. I mean, how many years did he have the title of being the best player in the league? 4? And right now, after all this time, he's the 8th best player in the league still. Great accomplishment. First ballot Hall of Famer. Travis Kelce is 7. Hey, get this. You're probably already in the top 10. You're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential Hall of Famers. You got probably 6 Hall of Famers in this top 10. Trent Williams 9, Aaron Donald 8, Travis Kelce 7, Chiefs tight end. Myles Garrett 6, Browns edge rusher. 5 is Josh Allen. Get this. CBS has him ranked 3rd. I don't think so. 3rd? Little high. I don't believe that Allen's better than Bosa or Jefferson. I got Nick Bosa 4th. 49ers edge. And they got Justin Jefferson ranked 17th. And I'm like, I don't think so. Okay? I don't think so. I got Jefferson 3rd. I got Burrow 2nd. And I got Mahomes 1. So here's the top 20 Big Sills NFL players in the league right now. And again, it's completely different than CBS's. I just don't get the whole Hurts thing is actually whacked. 31 to have him ranked. No, I'll give Hurts top 20 billing as one of the top. There's a lot of great players I haven't mentioned here. There's a lot of superstar players. Lamar Jackson's not mentioned. Shit, man, a ton of them. Ton of wide receivers. Stephon Diggs. They had Stephon Diggs in the top 20. I don't buy that. Okay? I do not see that. I didn't put Dak in here. Mahomes 1, Burrow 2, Jefferson 3, Bosa 4, Nick, Allen 5, Myles Garrett 6, Travis Kelce 7, Aaron Donald 8, Trent Williams 9, Micah Parsons 10, TJ Watt 11, Tyreek Hill 12, Sauce Gardner. Now, here's the one issue that I have with Gardner, along with Hurts. He's a star in his rookie year. It's 1 year. I debated on that. He just looks like the best corner in the sport, though. I don't think it's really close. He's the best corner in the sport. No, not one running back, no. But 1 year, kind of like Jalen. 1 year, most of these guys have multiple years. Really, the only guys that don't have multiple years are Trevor Lawrence and Jalen and Sauce Gardner that are in my top 20. The rest of them have multiple years of putting pretty good numbers up. Okay. Chris Jones, I thought Chris Jones dominated the Eagle D-line, especially in the second half. Stopped the run. He played excellent in that game. He actually played excellent on Kelsey and on Sayamalo. He was really good in that game. I got Lane 16th. Actually, Devontae Adams 15, Lane 16. Jalen Ramsey 17. Justin Herbert 18, Jalen 19, and Trevor Lawrence 20. And again, if you want to put Jalen ahead of Justin Herbert, you could do that. I would not have a problem with that. And like I said, you guys may look at me and go, Sills, you have no respect for Jalen. I got a ton more than they do. No, I didn't put Derrick Henry in here. I think he's right outside, probably top 25, somewhere in there. Okay? Reds 215, Eagles go. Did Jones get a sack? No, he stopped the run. And major running game. Non-effective. Stop the run game cold. Here's Neil. Let Jalen do this for another 3 to 4 years. If Jalen Hurts has the same kind, I don't know, maybe Tone agrees. If Jalen Hurts has the next 3 to 4 years, like he played last year, he'll be a top 5 guy. And he'll push the rest of those guys out of the room. Jalen is, last year this time, there's not a person on the planet who would have put Jalen Hurts in the top 50 players. I got him 19th. I wouldn't have put him in the top 50 players last year. Never. Not in a million years. Not in a million years was he a top 50 player. Okay? Big Sills, Miami Hurricanes connection. Big Sills. Oh, okay. They don't? Okay. We rushed for over 100 yards in the Super Bowl. Wasn't enough. And that's below your average. You were second in the league in rushing, correct? You rushed for 100 yards. You needed more because that's your game. That's right. You needed 200 to beat them. You think you're going to beat the Chiefs running the ball 100 yards? You had no chance then. You had no chance. You had 3 and outs in the second half. You had no chance. Not exactly cold. Well, that offense had 3 and outs in the second half. Okay? I don't have Jason Kelsey in the top 20. I think he's in the top 25. I think he's a great player. He's not better than Chris Jones. He's not better than Myles Garrett, Travis Kelce, Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Nick Bosa, Trent Williams, TJ Watt, Tyreek Hill. Not happening. Not happening. I'm not going anywhere near that 5-star. Not going anywhere. Seals, the Eagles had 2, 3 and outs all game. Okay. But you don't understand. 2, 3 outs in the second half of a game that a quarterback on the other side is scoring at will in the Super Bowl is so detrimental. You can't have 3 and outs against Patrick Mahomes. That's exactly why the score was 3 points. And you're down 10. You're right. You can't have 3 and outs, 3 and outs in the entire game against the Chiefs and beat them. You had no chance of beating them then and running for 100 yards. You were not going to beat them. Dude, we only had 3 3-and-outs in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid. Well, you got beat. What are you talking about? You can't have 3-and-outs. You needed to have an established running attack for 4 quarters of football. The key was keeping Mahomes off the field. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Hurts does not have a loser gene. That is not true. That is absolutely not true. Special teams, the punt down in the corner of the end zone, too. Okay? We can't lose against the best player in the league. You can't. I mean, look. Mahomes and Reid were That's Andy Reid's greatest moment of coaching, in my opinion, in the second half. And I would say this to you, coming out of halftime. He was great. He was absolutely great. I thought and by the way, I said this too the day after the game. I thought Jalen was special in the ball game. I really did. I thought he was special. Miles hit the bed. Hurts is a born leader. You guys think that? I do. He carries himself like it. I do. I think so. That was a football game. You know, again, Mahomes. Look at what Mahomes didn't have on that team. One more time again. See, Mahomes doesn't need a big-time running game. Mahomes doesn't need a big-time wideout. Mahomes doesn't really need the best O-line. Jalen needs all that. That guy doesn't need any of that. That's what's making this thing even more separation with him. I think, get this, I think Mahomes has separated himself more so than what Tom Brady. I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I think Mahomes has separated himself so further from the rest of the pack of the other players in the league right now that the gap is so wide that it is wider than anything Tom Brady ever had. And you know what? He may never have the same number of Super Bowls that Tom Brady has, but would you not agree? The gap between him and Joe Burrow, I mean, I think it's closer from 2. When we're talking to quarterbacks in the NFL, I think it's closer from 2 to 8 than it is from 1 to 2. I think the gap is wider. This guy doesn't, he is an organization's dream. You know why? Think about this. You don't have to overspend and overpay for anything. Mahomes is the only quarterback in the NFL that can win a Super Bowl with only a paperclip and a piece of string. How about this? Is there any other quarterback in the NFL that could make a team, I mean like the Bears, and make all 32 teams Super Bowl contenders? I don't think there's another guy in the league at that position that could do that. I think he's the only guy. He's the only guy. He's proving it. Now, look, Kelsey is an all-timer. I get it. Their line's good, not great. Their defense is good, not great. Their play caller is exceptional. And the quarterback is exceptional. I don't think this includes Joe Burrow. I don't think there's another guy in the league that could take the Bears to the playoffs. Now it's the NFC, but can you if the Bears had Mahomes, they're a playoff contender. Okay? Mahomes is just that. That's my point here. He's the only guy in the sport that can go to, like, You remember back in the day when you kind of could say that about LeBron? You know, in LeBron's prime, you could probably put LeBron on any team and go like this. Well, they're a contender. You could probably put them on Orlando and they'd be a contender. Okay? Shit, man. If you put Jalen Hurts in Chicago, they might win 8 games. They don't have anything. He's got a full loaded team. He doesn't, dude, and they still lost. Well, they lost to Mahomes. How about this? Here's something else. If he's playing against any other quarterback, Jalen Hurts, he wins that game. He wins that game, I believe. Okay? If they were playing anyone else, I believe they'd have won that game. I think they would. As a matter of fact, I know they'd have won that game. Okay? Mahomes is now the same breadth as LeBron and Brady. Once again, here's a guy hearing 5% of what I said. I said Mahomes is one of the only men on the planet right now, like LeBron used to be, that you could put LeBron on any team and they'd be a contender. Yes. As a matter of fact, 2 Super Bowl MVPs in 5 years, 2 Super Bowl wins, 5 consecutive NFC title games. Yeah, he is in LeBron and Brady's early, at 28, whatever he is. Yeah, he is. As a matter of fact, I don't have a problem saying that. You're right, he is. Thank you, dude. At his age, Mahomes is LeBron. Yes. I hate talking about that Super Bowl. Dude, if it's anyone else, he wins it. Okay? Hey, Niner, man. I know you've been hiding on me a little bit here, man, but I had to break the news about your boy Kittle. Your boy Kittle gave your guy a backhanded slap in the face. That was pretty big, man. Hey, Trey Lance. Hey, he could start somewhere else, but he can't start here. It's Purdy's job. Man, I don't know about you, Junior. But I can't think that that's a good thing, Niner, man. Hey, Niners. That's new content, too, by the way. Are you still on the Trey Lance bandwagon? You still on that bandwagon, man? Shit, man. That thing must be moving along now, man, because there's less guys I would think on that bandwagon. That thing must have picked up some serious speed right now. Used to be a whole shit. Hey, you should have seen these people. Hey, so you guys know, I used to get people wanting to make bets with me, $50 bets with me from the Bay Area that were going to Venmo me that Trey Lance would be a superstar player in the NFL. Those guys have all gone away. I looked at my Venmo, and I didn't see any money in there, man. I was supposed to be taking on all these $50 bets. I was like, I got you. I'll take that bet. Trey Lance all day. Woo, baby. Trey Lance season. Holy shit. All right. Pro football talk. I want to hit on them too next. CBS is crazy. Jalen Hurts is a top 20 football player. He is absolutely. They have him ranked. I know some of you are mad at me, but I have him ranked at least 19th. All right. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild.
and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, Birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing, the second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs, and then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
EAGLES, Eagles.
I debated this. Would you guys want to have John Gruden on? Would you want to hear from John Gruden? He and I are friends. By the way, Carson Wentz had a great conversation with John last night. And we talked about Carson Wentz. Here, my relationship. Some of you know my relationship with John. I was in the room when he was hired by Al Davis. And when Al hired him, when he was your offensive coordinator in Philadelphia. And some of you know the story that I'm sitting in the back with Al. And then Al gets up and he goes down and they start talking about formations and they start talking about approaches and how he loves spread offenses and how he's a big believer in this. It's very technical. And get this, the quarterback has a ton of shit to remember. It's not simple. 67YZ with a curl T, under, over, backdoor slide. Shit like that. I mean, it's really, you got to have like a NASA degree to read his playbook. And his playbook. Oh, real quick. I saw someone say that the U hates big sills. Hold on for a second here. Let me see here. See what we got here. Oh, geez. I got too much. Wait, I can't go through it all. It's too much of a. Did I take my name? Yeah. It's too much of a care package. So I don't know. I gotta let me put that over here. Hold on. How much? Hold on for a second. I gotta put the swag box over here. Just to put that over there. So where was I now? Okay. John Gruden. That's where I was. So I had a conversation with John last night. He goes, guess who I'm working with? I go, who? He goes, Carson Wentz. And I said, you're working with Carson Wentz? how's it going? He goes, kid's talented. I said, well, what's the problem? He goes, I don't think he believes he is. He goes, that's kind of between us, but this guy's been so beat up. I said, but yeah, John, this is the one difference with Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz. Look how much Jalen was beat up. Dude, he was massively embarrassed on national television when they took his job away from him. It had to be the most embarrassing moment of his entire career, that he had that job taken away and he had to act like a good soldier on the sideline, helping Tagovailoa. Dog, I'm not that guy. I'm not doing that. I'm not putting a good face on. Shit, you couldn't pull me out of games without me throwing a temper tantrum. Okay? You couldn't. Anytime they took me out, I threw my helmet. I was never in a good mood with that. I was not happy about that stuff. I had to work on that. Man, one time I came out of a game. We came out of a game. I had my helmet in my hand, and they wanted to start doing rotation. I threw my helmet. My coach, Butch Davis, looked at me. Jimmy came over. Pick your effing helmet up. What the hell's wrong with you? We're trying to keep you and that other guy as fresh as possible, Jerome. This is nothing negative. We're trying to help. I said, don't ever take me out for a lesser guy. They sat me down for a couple series. And I was like, this is why you didn't start the season right here. I had to work on being a really good teammate because I didn't believe, it wasn't I was a bad teammate, but man, I always believed I was better than everybody in there, and I was. Well, outside of 98. And I believed that I'm the best chance we have winning ball games. And when you took me out and put a lesser guy in, I wasn't happy about that. And so when I see Jalen Hurts doing that, man, he must have thought he was the better player the whole time because he is. Okay? Oh, I mean, Dan looks like Jack Nicholson from Anger Man. I said over easy. Yeah, then he got his alphabet soup. I actually like alphabet soup. So I asked John Moore, I go, well, what's his game like? He goes, has a great arm. He's a big dude. I got calls from offensive coordinators and teams around. He's getting flooded with calls on Wentz from NFL personnel offices. He's working with John Gruden. See, here's the problem, though, with that. John Gruden is going to tell you the way it is, and he's going to say some shit to you. I mean, he is not – John's not the nicest guy on the planet sometimes when he talks to his quarterbacks. His relationship with his quarterbacks is pretty rough. He treated Sims like shit. Chris Sims, man, he got a beating. That's why those young quarterbacks, they can't handle him, man. He beats them up, man. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? He screamed. Dude, this is why, hey, I hope John Gruden gets another shot. I don't know what that is. Should he be, watch this, and to respect of African Americans in the locker room, should he be a head coach? That I don't think. You can't be a leader of black, high-powered leaders and then put a guy who had that on his resume in the building. He's got to be in a subservient role. You can't put him in a leadership role if he's to come back to the NFL. Not a minority in that league will trust him. So you can't have him in that role. Okay? You can't have African Americans answering to a guy who had that out there. Now, again, here's something else. It's far cry from Matt Patricia and the Eagles bringing a guy like that in. Why are they trying to put a speed bump in their locker room? Way different scenario. And I'm not saying they're close. I'm just saying teams are looking for the best people they can to help their football team and their players become better, whatever that looks like, or sometimes whatever that sounds like. Okay? You feel me? Hey, if somebody could make you better and he's got some sort of shaded past, would you listen? Would you just ignore it? Me? I would try to find a better option. You know, Tone? Give me a better option. There's got to be a better option than that. I know John's got a great reputation, but how about if I call Peyton Manning? Why don't I just call Peyton Manning? You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm cool off John Gruden. I'm cool. Are you okay with John Gruden, Tone? Not in a head coaching role, though. No, you're not. Okay. And dude, you're probably the majority of even the white players in the locker room. And see, you know what it also does? Why would he pick that guy? It kind of goes into what people were kind of maybe saying a little bit about him. I really thought about this last night, and I like John. But John Gruden publicly helping me, and he has racial BS behind him. And then even some of the black players in the Eagle and in the Indianapolis locker room were saying some things about Wentz, and it was never directly said, but it just kind of, I don't know. Do you really want to put those things together like that? Right? Do you really want to put that together? At the end of the day, I'm probably with Tone on that. Give me Peyton Manning instead of John Gruden. Let me call Eli. I'd even call Eli, I guess. Okay. I just happen to know John from Tampa and the players that know him and around him. Sapp loves him. Okay. Warren Sapp loves John Gruden. I don't know. All that being said, one thing that I do have to mention here, it's important to me because I do it every year. The Black College Football Hall of Famers had a great event the other day, and it's one of my favorite Hall of Fames. Nobody in American broadcasting or in the media ever acknowledges the historically black colleges like I do. It's not a pat on my back. It's something we should always be cognizant of, because if you look at the Canton Hall of Fame, if you put a Black College Football Hall of Fame together of just the black players that were from the HBCU schools, it'd be a pretty formidable team. And my friend Doug Williams is the director of that Hall of Fame, and I always find it an obligation to make sure that I mention some of the greatest men that ever played the game. You may not know the names because of the colleges they played at, but the historically black colleges were an essential part in building the NFL. Number one, Leslie Frazier played at Alcorn State from 78 to 86. You know him probably more as a coach, but Leslie was a heck of a player at Alcorn State, Steve McNair's place. Let me just say this to you. One of my closest and dearest friends, man, Henry Lawrence, played right offensive tackle on those great Raider O-lines, and he is a hell of a lounge singer. Henry plays a mean piano, and he is 6 foot. Get this. This guy plays a mean piano, and he's 6'6", 320 pounds. He's already in, Kyle. What an absolutely spectacular player Henry Lawrence was. Congratulations. He's at FAMU. FAMU follows Big Sills on my Twitter page. I used to go to the Orange Blossom event every year. There's Tone, there's Big Sills, the only guy on a float. The only thing wider than me at the Orange Blossom parade was the line in the highway. Hey, Man, that thing is a great event. Hey, you got to get to that thing, man. It is a super event, man. God, I love that thing. Congratulations to you, Henry Lawrence. Much overdue, dude. What a great player. Albert Lewis, Grambling State, alma mater, Doug Williams, from 79 to 82. How about the great Jim Marshall? Holy cow. What a great football player, man. It's a shame he's not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He played on the Purple People Eaters. Went to Tennessee State from 65 to 68. Just a great player, man. I love that Purple People Eater front. Marshall, Eller, Page. Tremendous, man. Larson. Just a great front four, man. That's back when you had front fours like Fearsome Foursome, Doomsday, Purple People Eaters. Great shit, man. I love that part of the game. Rest in peace, Tyrone McGriff, FAMU, 76 to 79. I believe Coach Riley hadn't gotten there yet, Ken Riley. I don't think he got to FAMU yet. But a really great player at the HBCU level. Elijah Pitts played for the Lombardi Packers. And he went to Philander Smith College, 58 to 61. He has been inducted into the Black College Football Hall of Fame. And then Johnny Walton, Elizabeth City State from 65 to 68. And the legendary Pete Richardson, coached at Winston-Salem and also coached at Southern. These are such great names. Albert Lewis, man, you know him from the Kansas City Chiefs. Marshall from the Vikings. Lawrence from the Raiders. Pitts from the Packers. These guys were all legendary players in their own right. And back then, again, I say at that level was as good as any level. You know, when you played in the 60s and early 70s at the HBCU, I believe they could have beat most of the Southeastern Conference teams because Southeastern Conference was afraid of putting black players on their rosters. Alabama didn't have them, I think, until 71 was when they first started having African Americans. I believe Jackson State, Grambling, any Southern, FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, any of those schools could have beat the shit out of them places like Auburn and Alabama. You ever wonder why they never scheduled them? They didn't want that going on. Historically black colleges playing against LSU, that ain't happening. Jerry Rice, also another HBCU. Okay. What did Gruden say about Wentz? Chris, I'll do that in the Power Hour. Also want to look at a column that Pro Football Talk did. I'll start that off with what John Gruden said. I asked him if there's any saving of Wentz. I'll tell you what he said. We'll do that in hour number 3. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
For the big story on Action News,
search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction. Go with trust.
Go Birds!
And go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank. the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
All right, did you know I was the mommy slam dunk champion?
Really?
Yes, really don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, I go to left. Fake 'em out. Mama, go up, mama!
She did it.
Again?
You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Forgot to mention this. Hour number 3, Power Hour. How many of you live close to King of Prussia? Toad, wait till you hear this. Wait till you hear this. I got a great text this morning. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if this is going to be good. I don't know if this is going to be good or not for Big Sills here. Sue goes, I do. About an hour away. See if I got. Okay. Half hour? Okay. You ready? I believe we're going to be doing business with our good friends at Hooters and King of Prussia and Big Sills may be in town once a week during the football season. How you doing? Hey, yes, sir, man. Phil, the owner of the establishment, has said that I look forward to doing business with you. So this will mark, now let me see here. If we cross all the T's, dot the I's, and all this and that, this will be, what will this be market-wise for Hooters investing in the Big Sills show? Let's see. Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, Miami, San Diego, Phoenix, Dallas, Atlanta, San Francisco, and now Philadelphia. By the way, Tony, you guys weren't helping me with the mayor with some of your disgusting comments. It's the mayor of Vegas. Don't you want to have some getaways? You see, you guys aren't very smart. I'm also bringing the mayor on to try to get me hooked up with the MGM guy and some of the people in Vegas to do some flyaways, to have an extended stay somewhere. I mean, come on, hook me up here. You guys aren't being smart here, man. Look at me. I'm doing the old Italian deal here. So, yeah, King of Prussia, the Hooters. How you doing, man? So, yeah, we're looking forward to this. It was about 5:30 in the morning, and Phil, the owner of Hooters, he's like, hey, you know what? I look forward to having a beer with you, man, and let's get some business going here. Okay. So, hey, Tony goes like this. You've created this, Sills. Okay, maybe. No, I didn't. Tony, don't you understand something here? Aren't you getting this? Thank you, Arthur. I appreciate it. Hey, Arthur, for the amount of shit that you give me, you better get your ass up there, too, to see me. JM, you too. All you guys that give me a ton of shit, I want to see you more. I want to see you more. Get your asses up there. Talk shit. We'll talk shit together. Okay? So wait a minute. Tony, don't you understand something here? The Big Seal Show is a Monday through Friday wing bowls. This is what the wing bowl environment was. This is why radio stations in your respected city, basically, you know, elevator music. You know, when you get on an elevator and you hear that music, dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. That's what I hear when I hear Philly radio. Dun, 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 dun. I'm gonna stop. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, here's 6A to 7P on a respected radio station. Well, not respected anymore. In Philadelphia, 10, 10, 10. You can play this music and it's the same. Dun, 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 dun. Tones like this. What are you singing? No, IP's good, dude. They're killing it, man. They're good, man. Dun, 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 dun. Sills is. I'm getting some really good news. Actually, see, hey, you know, I don't know, man. I'm one of those guys that work on good news too, bad news. You know, I kind of go up and down. I'm kind of a maniac. No one would ever confuse me with being sane, especially my daughter. My daughter's like, you know, hey, Dad, where do you think I get this maniacism from? I go, not me. She's like, oh, no, because you're sane. Oh, okay, Dad. My daughter's. hey, Barb. Here's a station that Mike Missinelli used to be on. Dun, 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 dun. Tan, 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 tan. I'm going to stop. All right. We're going to get into something else. Oh, I got to hit on what you guys want to hear what John Gruden said about Wentz. I asked him if he could be saved. That's an oldies. Well, what do you think here? What we're looking at here. Clearly, you have better Dan. I think that's a Burt Bacharach. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know, man. What the hell do I know? Anyway, Carson Wentz. Tone's favorite coach. Yeah. Hey, Tone, I'm drowning. Well, that's a long way to the bottom. Hey, here, can you see Tone? Tone's in a rowboat. John Gruden's overboard. Tone's like this. Help me, I'm drowning. Brother, that's a long way to the bottom. Yeah, ain't you gonna help me? No. What happened? Tone pick out an apple, start chewing on an apple. Hey man, I hope it don't last longer because you look like you're struggling. A pair of water wings. Yeah, he just went under. Hey, like this, look. Yeah. And Bubble stopped. Yeah, he'll be up in about 2 hours. Yeah, hey, he'll be up near, hey, Tone, he'll be up near Wildwood. He'll be up near Wildwood washing the shore. And probably in about 2 hours. We found a body. John Gruden at Wildwood. Yeah, he went in under the bridge, though. Probably didn't want to pay the $5. Anyway, I asked him if I asked John Gruden if Wentz can be saved. He's working with him. And he made an interesting comment. Wentz has to go to a place that's tough, not weak with him. Someone who's tough, like Seattle. I said, Seattle? He goes, do you know why Geno Smith had a great year last year? Pete coached him hard. Geno never had that. Coaching hard. That sucks, kid. Can't have it. Got to be better. There's no massaging. You see, you guys are under the impression he can't handle that. He's got to handle that. John says he needs to be beat up by a coach every day. He needs a coach up his ass every moment, not coddling him. And if he can't take it, he has to want to take it. Jalen embraces coaching and embraces hard coaching. Belichick, Barb, that's a good one too. That's a good one too. I'd look, if I were him, don't look for the easiest avenue. Holy shit. Guess who's going to coach him and knows him? Either Carolina. No, here, I'm going to make something here, and I'm going to say this to you about Frank Reich. Frank is not a hard coach. He's not going to coach Carson hard. Doug is. I love Frank. You know that. He's been on our program 100 times. He's not going to coach him hard. You see, you had that bad cop, good cop going on with Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson and Frank Reich. Frank would kind of calm the room down. Doug getting his ass. Okay? You got to have a guy that's sitting there going to beat his ass up. John said, and I go, man, how can you perform in that environment? He goes, Tom Brady got beat up every day by Bill Belichick. Tom just got sick of it. But didn't it make sense? Then he went to another coach that beat him up. And Bruce Arians. Don't you guys see the similarities? Bruce Arians beat him up. Bruce had no problem talking shit on Tom Brady. Everyone was like, oh, no. There's probably a bit. See, most of the media people remember how they acted with that relationship. Bruce and Tom have a great relationship. How many times has Arians come on here and said, we have a wonderful relationship? But most of you can't handle the truth, like the movie says. That's why when someone is in someone's ass, you think that's adversarial. I think that's coaching. As long as you're coming from a place that you're looking to help that kid become the best player he can be, and you know that, that's coaching. When you're just screaming at a guy to scream at a guy, that's being destructive. Eagles' former quarterback coach, John DeFilippo, used to be one to send Carson to the grinder. He stayed on his ass when DeFilippo and Reich left Philly. The checks and balances left. That's right. Carson Wentz can't be – everyone's like, Carson can't go to a coach that's going to be mean to him. Yes, he has to. For him to save his NFL career, John Gruden says he's got to go to a place that someone has got his hand completely up his ass to where his lips move. Those were John Gruden's words. I was kind of like, wow. Okay. He goes, but the players got to want that. No player on the planet invites getting their ass kicked by a coach for the littlest thing. Nobody likes to walk into work, and the first thing you hear is a guy telling you how much you suck or something you need to get better at. There's got to be there's got to be some positive thinking there, and there's got to be some trust. Me, I think it's Seattle. I'm not going to Matt LaFleur. I hear people say go to Green Bay. Why? does Matt LaFleur look like he's going to beat Carson Wentz up? I'm not even sure that guy's a good coach. As a matter of fact, I think Matt LaFleur could be one of the most overrated coaches in the league. We're going to find out how good he is. If that guy takes the Packers to the NFC North title and they win it, I'll completely apologize and go, oh, I couldn't have been more wrong about a coach. But I don't believe it. I don't. It begs the question, is that the type of player I want? A guy that needs that much attention could ultimately prove to be a distraction. Was it a distraction in New England for Brady? Bill Belichick screamed at Tom Brady more than any other player, they say, in that locker room. He screamed at the number one. Mike Tomlin screamed. Get this. Mike Tomlin screamed at Ben Roethlisberger daily. He would put Ben Roethlisberger on total blast. They said every single day, Ben Roethlisberger would be put on blast by Mike Tomlin. I mean, those guys, between them, they got 9 Super Bowls. If it results in that kind of distraction, I'm totally in with that distraction. That's a distraction that I want. Hey, man. And by the way, you know what it sends a message to? Man, if he'll kick the shit out of that guy, I'm not safe at all. And it sets a tone in your locker room. All for one, one for all. If Tom Brady could get his ass kicked, the greatest player in the game, anybody in this building could get their ass kicked. Okay? That ain't a distraction. That's culture. That's our culture, man. But Brady was a self-starter. If I'm hearing you correctly, it seems that Wentz needs to be pushed or motivated. Would you consider Wentz a self-starter? No. No. And Brady's background was a 6th-round pick, and it goes deeper. See, there's a lot of similarities between Brady and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts lost his job at Alabama. Tom Brady barely could keep his job at Michigan. Both guys weren't looked at as top-flight talent to be an NFL quarterback, one less than the other. Jalen was actually looked on higher by the Eagles in the NFL than what Brady was. And there's somewhat of a journey there because you have to be a self-starter because you know why? I think there's more self-perseverance and self-preservation when you have to come from those places than when you're the second pick in the draft. I think you have more of an entitled mentality when you're the second pick in the draft. More expectations. Let's be candid here. If Carson Wentz was drafted in the 4th round, like Dak Prescott, wouldn't you look at him as the same? You think Dak Prescott's had a better career than Carson Wentz? If he wasn't the second pick in the draft and he was a 4th rounder or 3rd rounder, would you have the opinion you have of him? Probably not. Carson Wentz stats. He's a second pick. Here. How many years has Wentz been in the league? 7. Okay. Here's 7 years of statistics for Wentz. Obviously, last year he was benched. But let's just take a look at it. Okay? 3,782, 3,300, 3,100, 4,039, 3,600, 3,500, and 1,700. You think Dak Prescott's been a better quarterback than Carson Wentz? 33 touchdowns, 7 picks. 21 touchdowns, 7 picks. 27 touchdowns, 7 picks. 16 touchdowns, 15 picks. 28 touchdowns, 7 picks. 11 touchdowns, 9 picks. 151 touchdowns, 66 interceptions. You truly think that Dak Prescott's been better than Carson Wentz? I don't. Statistically, sure, Dak has had a better career, but as far as team success, Wentz has had more success. Well, I don't know, Tone. 7 years? Those pretty good statistics there. He's put up more numbers. Yeah. Interception ratio, it's not bad. You wouldn't have this opinion of Carson Wentz if he wasn't second pick in the draft. My point is, you look at Dak Prescott and look at his numbers and go, wow, man, it's pretty good. Oh, he's a fourth rounder. You look at Carson Wentz's numbers and go, I don't know, man. Second pick? They're not bad. Carson Wentz statistically doesn't have bad numbers. Those are not horrible numbers. Tell you this. Is he better? Do you think Carson Wentz is better than Kyler Murray? I don't know. They're kind of the same guy. Kirk Cousins and Carson Wentz numbers-wise, Cousins probably better. Probably. Matthew Stafford and Wentz, I don't know. Like Daniel Jones, you think is better than Carson Wentz? Statistically? Well, I hope he has a year Carson's ever had. 2 years ago, Carson Wentz had 30 touchdowns almost and 7 picks. I don't know. I mean, when I see Kyler Murray and Carson Wentz, I kind of see the same guy in a way. But Kyler's more athletic. He's not dependable. Well, neither is the other guy we're talking about in a way. Golf and Wentz? I think he's better. Not by a ton. See the point I'm making here? There is such a negative about his attitude. And get this, it's not even really fundamentally expressed by teammates in a loud way. It's just his mannerism. Like, he doesn't make you want to jump into a forest fire for him. You know what I mean? Jalen's going to jump in the forest fire. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to go help Jalen because he jumped in first. That's the kind of attitude Hurts has. He's not going to do something or ask you to do something that he wouldn't do. And so when you see your quarterback jumping in head first, I am too. I'm going to jump in head first because the leader of our football team is jumping in head first. That's why Mulata jumps in right after Hurts. He sees that. The rest of them are all jumping in with him, right? I am too. As a defensive guy, if I was on that field and I saw someone taking swings at Jalen Hurts, I'd get out there and throw some dukes too. I'd be like, hey, man, what's up with that? Because that guy's not looking for that. He's just looking to compete. And if you take it over the board, well, I could take it over the board too. You want to go hallway? You want to go street? You got the right guy here. Now you can't leave. I'm ready to go too. That's the kind of attitude he brings, though. Okay, that's the kind of guy that makes you want to jump. See, like I said, Jalen's going to jump in. Then you're going to jump in. He ain't going to go, jump in. Once he's going to tell you to jump in, you're going to go, I'm not jumping in. Okay? Wentz is a good guy and player, but a bad leader. That's the only way to put it. That's the worst thing you could say about a player. That's the worst. What Tony just said is the worst comment you can make on a player. That sucks because you can't help that and you can't fix that. Dude's a good player, but a bad leader. That's the only way to put it. Ugh. I don't think there's any fixing that. Being a leader. I don't know. You know, really, if you think about it, it's the only position in sports that you have to be the leader. Look at your Sixer team with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's the MVP of the league. And I wouldn't think that guy's ever going to hoist a Bill Russell trophy in his entire career. I heard somebody say that I said trade Joel Embiid. You won't have to worry about that. If he has any brains and his people have any brains, He'll pull what the rest of the players in the league does. He'll want out. He'll want out. Doc Rivers said exactly, by the way, I reached out to Doc. Doc Rivers said exactly what I thought. The entire culture in the 76er front office has not changed, even back from the days of Elton Brand, because the owner of that team does not have a culture in the building that people buy into or people believe. Believe in what process? Dude, there's no slogan with the Eagles in their process. There's actions in their process. Tremendous actions. Success. They win. Hey, get this. The Eagles win their division. They recruit against the other teams in their division. They completely know what they're doing. You know how many organizations organizations that don't have an idea what to do when it comes to winning? The Cardinals. The Jets are getting better. The Bears. The Jags are getting it right. Those are the worst ones. The Browns, probably. All right. Let me go over to this now. So Pro Football Talk came out with their preseason list. We did it the other day, and I kind of wanted to match it up here. And this is Mike Florio's guys. Cardinals the worst team. We all agree. Hey, how many years do you think that Jonathan Gannon has as the head coach in Arizona? You think he makes it through 1 year? What's the over-under on 1 or 2 years? I say he's out. You think he's a Nathaniel Hackett? Because they're going to get the first pick in the draft and have an opportunity to draft Caleb. Wait a minute now. You want a defensive-minded coach, coaching Caleb Williams? If you decide to go in the route of trading Kyler Murray and having Jonathan Gannon as the head coach of the Cardinals, that's a decision they're going to have to make. Do you want Jonathan Gannon as the head coach of Caleb Williams? I think this guy's got 1 year here, because I think they will try to trade Kyler Murray in the offseason. They'll want to get out from that. Get on a rookie contract, get a reboot, move him. There'll be a team that will pick that contract up. Who knows? The Dolphins. Who knows if Tua can get through the season? You might want to try to make him a Miami Dolphin like you did Josh Rosen. I got the Texans. Well, he has the Texans 31. I think they're going to be better than that. I do. I think they're going to be better. The Colts at 30. So Shane Steichen, according to Mike Florio and Jonathan Gannon, got two of the worst jobs in the history of the NFL currently. Colts and the Cardinals. The 32nd worst team and the 30th. Man, those guys couldn't have went to shittier places. And on top of that, shittier owners. The Bears are 29. Maybe one day the Bears will get it right. This is Mike Florio's list on how he put a preseason team together. I think the Bears might be better than that. I don't know. I'm rooting for Justin Fields. How about this? They got the Rams at 28. I think the Rams moved that money around with Cooper Kupp to try to do something either with Dalvin Cook or either with DeAndre Hopkins. I think there's something brewing here. Number 27, the Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to be down here. I don't know where the Raiders are going. I don't know what Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be doing. The Falcons at 26, I think they're going to be better. I think they're doing some nice things, in my opinion, in Atlanta. Panthers at 25. I think depends on what Bryce Young. I like the fact that they named Bryce Young the starter. I think that's a good thing. 24, the Commanders. I saw something, I was listening, Tone. I was listening to the guys talking about Sam Howell. And they're saying all the right things about Sam Howell. Sam Howell's a pretty good ball player. He's not bad. He had a nice game against the Cowboys at the end of the season last year. At North Carolina, he was good his sophomore, junior year. Senior year, those two running backs left. They lost some defensive tackles that they had on that team too, so they weren't quite as good. Mac Brown's done a nice job with that program. Who would have thought North Carolina is a better program than Texas? Mac Brown has put more pros at the quarterback position into the NFL than what Texas has done in the last 30 years at that position. I mean, Mac Jones has put Vince Young in. He's put Chris Sims in. He's put I'm not saying they're great. Mitchell Trubisky in. This kid, Drake May, is going to be the second player taken in the upcoming draft. They got Howell in there. These are all guys that Mac Brown, and he was pushed out of Texas. They did a nice job there, man. Again, it's North Carolina. Remember something about North Carolina sports. It's a basketball program. It's not a football program. That thing is revolved around the hoop program. All the money that goes into that program is basketball. Now, back in the 50s, it was football. But then when the 60s came and 70s, and you had all that great winning with Dean Smith and Jordan coming in there, it changed the culture around. Carolina's always been considered a great basketball program, but to do what they're doing there by winning with Mac Brown, he's done a nice job there, man. Broncos 23, I got them higher than this. I think they're going to rebound. Some of you guys think that Mac Brown or Sean Payton's overrated. We're going to find out. How about this one here? Holy cow, man. Mike Florio has the Browns 22nd best team in the league. That is not good for the Browns. That is not good. That is not good for Deshaun Watson. You give a guy $230 million and your team is not in the top 20. Holy shit, man. You better hope that doesn't end like that, because that contract will be scrutinized and he will get hammered if that guy doesn't deliver the goods. And because he's got the greatest Deshaun Watson has the greatest contract in NFL history. Nobody's got more guaranteed money. Nobody has been promised more. Nobody has been given more security at that position than any player in the history of the league. Okay? Not even these new deals. Lamar, Jalen, Joe Burrow's deal. This guy got $230 million guaranteed. There's not a chance the Spanos family is giving Justin Herbert $230 million signing bonus. There's not a chance. They'll give him 190, 185, and everything will be deferred out and shit like that, because that's how the Spanoses and their cheap pocketbook and their zipper wallet works. Never. And then the Bengals too. You think the Bengals, Mike Brown, who bitched over $650,000 with Carson Palmer, is going to give that guy $230 million? Not a chance. Not a chance. No way. Patriots 21. Man, what a crazy year this would be. This would mark the fourth year in a row if the Patriots missed the postseason. They haven't won a playoff game in 3 years. They don't get there again. It's 4 years that the Patriots haven't won a playoff game. Man, all coincides with Tom Brady. Man, do you think what we're watching in New England right now, does it have an effect on how you look at Belichick? Has it changed? Has your opinion on Belichick changed since Brady's not there? Has that changed it? Has that changed it? How you look at him? Like, if you had to win a football game, who would you rather get this? If you had to win a football game, who would you want as your head coach? Andy Reid or Bill Belichick? Who would you want coaching your team? Reid? Like Bill, we're talking about Bill being one of the greatest of all time. So let's use some of the greatest of all time. Would you want Belichick or Bill Walsh coaching your team? Would you want Belichick? We're calling him the greatest coach of all time because he's won the most Super Bowls. And if he doesn't get to the playoffs, it'll be 4 straight years. Belichick or Joe Gibbs? If you had to win a Super Bowl, I'm taking Joe Gibbs. Stills, how much does a Super Bowl buy you as a coach? A lot, Brandon. A lot. Brandon, I think this is a fact on Dick Vermeil. I don't think if Dick Vermeil has a Super Bowl on his resume, he's not in the Hall of Fame. If he doesn't win that Super Bowl in St. Louis, he's not in the Hall of Fame. Okay? They had to really dig deep on Dick Vermeil and his resume because they were all turnaround projects that he was the head coach. Now, not so much in Kansas City, but in Philadelphia, it was a turnaround. And in St. Louis, it was a turnaround. He was one season away from being fired in St. Louis. Charlie Army told me, man, Georgie Frenier in the front office and all them people were not happy with the direction of the team. And all of a sudden, this guy just parachutes in named Kurt Warner, and all bets are off after that. Okay? Okay? I mean, so how about this? Andy Reid winning the Super Bowls. Does that change my opinion of Andy? I thought I know you guys will not like what you're going to hear here about my opinion on Andy Reid in Philly. I think he was a choker in big games. I think that football team laid eggs in big games under his direction. I think he underachieved as a head coach. He got to the mountaintop, and every time they got to those big games, he failed. He failed to push him across the finish line. That's on his watch, too. He wins those Super Bowls in Kansas City, in my opinion. I think that is a slam dunk. He's a Hall of Fame coach now. And then it makes it look a little better what he did in Philadelphia. But if Reid don't win those Super Bowls in Kansas City, he's not a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, Marty Schottenheimer won more games than him. Now, he's got 20 postseason wins now. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's right up there with Tom Landry now. It's quite a number. Andy's postseason now. I think he's got 20 postseason wins, maybe 21 now. So I think he's passed Tom Landry for the most postseason wins. It's pretty respectable. That's pretty respectable, man. Respectable? I'll take that back. That's pretty phenomenal. The Buccaneers at 20 are way too high. Saints at 19. I'm on the Saint bandwagon. So this is Mike Florio. Packers at 18, way too high. Titans at 17. So Mike Florio thinks Titans at 17 are better than the Broncos. Not me, man. He's got the Seahawks at 16. I don't know. I think they're higher. Vikings at 15. That sounds about right. Steelers at 14, I think that's too high. I don't believe in Kenny Pickett. Chargers at 13. They got 13 talent. Got to start winning there, Justin. Giants, Mike Florio thinks the Giants are the 12th best team in the league. He thinks Mike Florio thinks that the Giants are better than the Chargers, Steelers, Seahawks, Vikings, Saints, Browns, Broncos. No way. No way. I think the Giants are a 7-win team. Lions at 11. A lot of hype. Here's your top 10 teams according to Mike Florio. Jets at 10. Probably all right with that. Cowboys at 9. Yeah, you know what? You know what I get every time I talk about the Cowboys? Why do I feel like Notre Dame? How come every time I talk to Cowboys, I talk about Notre Dame? And why are the similarities between Notre Dame and the Cowboys? Every year they're in the top 10. I refuse to put Notre Dame in the top 10 in my preseason poll. And someone asked me the other day, what's your bias? I don't really have a bias against Notre Dame. I kicked the shit out of them my entire college career, so I'm not upset with them. I mean, I never lost to them, and we beat the piss out of them. Mercilessly, too. Like I said, I mean, I beat that team by 51 points one year. I don't really have a problem with them. And to me, I think they're overhyped and overrated. And they're just like, but it's not, but Steve, it's not just bandwagon. It's media bandwagon. Okay? It's media bandwagon. Because Notre Dame was a power out. Lou Holtz, that's 25 years ago. That's like 30 years ago. 35 years ago. So your best football's in your rearview mirror? Man, why would I put them in my the Cowboys here, they are at 9. Ravens at 8. Okay. Dolphins at 7. Sure got a lot of talent there. I think here you go here. This is where I think I think these teams can win a Super Bowl. The Jags at 6, the Bills at 5, the Bengals at 4, the 49ers at 3 he has. The Eagles at 2, we're in agreement there, and the Chiefs 1. So he agrees with me that the two best teams in the league right now are Chiefs and Eagles still. That's pretty cool coming off a Super Bowl. So Cardinals at 32, Texans at 31, Colts at 30, Bears at 29, Rams at 28, Raiders at 27, Falcons at 26, Panthers at 25, Commanders at 24, Broncos 23, Browns 22, Patriots 21, Buccaneers 20, Saints 19, Packers 18, Titans 17, Seahawks 16, Vikings 15, Steelers 14, Chargers 13, Giants 12, Lions 11, Jets 10, Cowboys 9, Ravens 8, Dolphins 7, Jags 6, Bills 5, Bengals, Niners, Eagles, Chiefs. It's not too off. It's not too off chart there. All right, let's take a timeout. Please hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
And the big story on Action News?
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia Dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
All right, did you know I was the mommy slam dunk champion?
Really?
Yes, really don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, go to left, fake 'em out. Mama, go up, up, up.
She did it.
Again?
You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh.
EAGLES, Eagles.
So Pat Sajak's calling it a career. Who would be the best personality to take over for Pat Sajak on Wheel of Fortune? I got the guy. I absolutely got the guy. And no, it's not me. No. I totally have the guy. Who do you think would fit? No. Who would be the best guy? You ready? Travis Kelce. How about Travis Kelce taking over? Spinning the wheel. Could you see that dude doing that? Oh my God, that look, there's no spelling. Well, there is spelling. Yeah, so I don't know, man. You think he'd be good on spelling? I don't think that he's kind of like, look at me, man. Is there any spelling on it? Yeah, it's what duh. Give me a letter. Let's see. Yeah, man. Travis Kelce doing Wheel of Fortune. Gronk. Hey, could you see Gronk doing Jeopardy? Oh my, could you see Travis Kelce doing Jeopardy? Nah, man, Shannon might be good on Wheel. I don't think Shannon would be good on Jeopardy. Okay, no, I don't think that'd go over well. Yeah, no, but dude, Travis Kelce or Gronkowski doing the Wheel. Holy shit, man. You would get a ton of viewers, and God knows what you would get. Those guys might take their shirt off when they're spinning the wheel. Oh, my God. It'd be absolutely great. Oh, man. Everything good in Cincy, man. Mixon's a good player. I don't know if he's still there yet. I see A.J. Brown doing Jeopardy. He's funny. Yeah, he's smart. He could probably hang in there. Joy Taylor, you see Lucius here? He just wants to see her bending over the thing there so that when she has to grab the wheel there. I got you, man. You're perverted, Lucius. I know you, man. You must be. Hey, you're either a brother or you're a paisan, which means we're related. So, I know you, man. You can't get away from Big Sills. I know what you're doing. It's no good. It's no good. Hey, one thing though, we had the mayor of Vegas on. Lenny Dykstra. No, just Mike. You know that he's been banned from my show ever again in any appearance because my aunt has put her foot down for only one guest in the history of my show. For the 30 years I've been on broadcasting, my aunt has only put her foot down one time, and that is Lenny Dykstra never could come on that program. She goes, I will never do anything ever again, say anything ever again to you if that guy ever shows up. So he is the only person that gets a lifetime ban on the Big Sill show. Everyone else is welcomed except for Lenny Dykstra. My aunt says she almost threw up after. She goes, that was the most disgusting interview I've seen since Donald Trump. She didn't say that. She might have, but I forgot it. Anyway, man, I do want to say this about the gambling, and I brought this up earlier a little bit, and I brought this up actually with Mayor Goodman. So the National Football League is making and going overboard about the gambling with the players. Okay? They're going overboard. But so now the Pro Bowl festivities are now being moved to Vegas. The Pro Bowl festivities are in Vegas. You got a professional football team there now. You're going to have a Super Bowl there. Why can't the players participate in gambling? The owner, don't you agree that the owners have more of a risk at fixing the league than some player does that plays defensive tackle or wide receiver? An owner can fix the league, the game. All you have to do is pull your starting quarterback out. Don't you think the owners are knee deep into gambling now? They're knee deep into it. Fantasy football, all this other stuff. Why are you so concerned about the players when it's you that could be confused? How many times do people look at the NBA and think the NBA is rigged with the referees? The referees work for the owners. They don't work for the players. And yet it always comes back on the players being accused of point shaving or what have you. Boy, the NFL, man. See, personally, I think they don't want the players to share in the wealth of another avenue for revenue stream. Because can you imagine this? Then you get personal sponsorship from a casino. MGM Grand sponsors Aaron Rodgers, or Ocean's Casino in Atlantic City sponsors Jalen Hurts. You would have more money for the players to make. How is that a bad thing? But the owners don't want to go down that route. I don't think it has anything to do with gambling. I think it has everything to do with the players benefiting from the brand that they help build. But the NFL doesn't want to share the brand that the players build. There lies the problem. And you know what they're doing? They're using all the media outlets to make the players, like, what did you suspend Calvin Ridley for again? Betting on what? Football games? So what? It's legal. But it's our rules. Yeah, but so your rules are just set up for the players then. How was that collectively bargained? Where's the freaking union here? The union's the weakest thing I know, because any player who was suspended for gambling, they should have fought this. They should have fought this. Why, you're in it. Why can't we be in it? You want to negotiate something in the next CBA? Oh, that's right. You took a knee, right, D. Smith? And you gave the owners everything they wanted. This is a prime example of that. Worst union in professional sports, the NFLPA. Worst. And I'm a member. Worst. Want to thank the mayor of Vegas for coming on with us, Carolyn Goodman, dear friend of ours. Thank you guys so much. You guys were absolutely sensational as always. Please make sure you go back. If you missed any of the show, watch it later. Xander, Big Joe, thank you so much. By the way, really great stuff coming up with our Hooters friends. We're really looking forward to that. Tone, keep up the great work. You're killing it as always. We will see you tomorrow 3 to 6, and we will catch you on the flip side.